Okay, here I am. I was in bed, ready to basically close my eyes, do my prayers, do my thing in unique ways each and every time. But there are some things that are habitual in a way, paying homage to those of my guides on my prayer mantle and having such gratitude for creation and all of those who are a part of it. And so my birthday has now passed. It was on the 9th, and now we're the 11th in the wee hours, practically almost in the morning. It is still dark. And I realize, oh my window's open. I must close it. Either way, what it was is earlier today, I woke up, or the day prior, and I had a beautiful handyman there helping adjust my eavesdrop, amongst other things. And it was peaceful. And then I had to meet up with a family member. It was nice at first, and then exchange words, and I catch myself being caught up in judgment in a way that it's like my preceptors. I'm not going to support someone, and I'm not talking about my family member, someone who is passing by trying to sell something. Now, who knows how that person came into those things, but the conversation came up about those who steal and then sell things, and how those that support them, and how some people even go as far as selling things online and so forth, is how it was discussed later tonight. But either way, I realize and recognize that when there is pain and suffering going on, sometimes you can't resolve things when someone's in such pain and suffering. And so it's like becoming the punching bag, and it doesn't matter what you say. It's like the nitpicking of things and the cruelty that's said just to hurt you because they're hurting. And then I realize I have to live my life. And the trauma and the abuse and the filtration from families of both generations. And how I know I'm enough, and I know I've been doing my work in a different way. And not to compare myself with this family member. But you just know the way the family member gets restitution in a way of gossip. And so things are sad, and then all of a sudden, before you know it, things are let out in a different way, and they're very hurtful. So I separate myself from that, receive beautiful support amongst beautiful people tonight in celebration of my birthday, a day later, because I chose that I wanted to celebrate my birthday on my own and just go about however it may be. And I did, and I had my own experience, which was beautiful. From going to a place, and I spoke of it before in another video. And so today and tonight I went to a beautiful, beautiful show, and where a quartet performed amongst all the beautiful people in the audience. The energy was beautiful, and the company, the friends, they're like soulful family, and I'm so grateful. There was 7, but yet there was 8 of us. And it's funny how the mind thought process goes, where you're like thinking 7, 7, 7, and then one arrives and you don't see them, but they're able to come in the show anyway. And so either way, we go to a gathering afterwards, not planned at all, but it ended up being beautiful. Out of the 7, yet 8, there's 6 of us that gathered around a table at a beautiful, beautiful Middle Eastern restaurant. within the city I reside. And so we're around the table, and to my surprise, not that we all partnered up, the six of us, in 3 different cars. And so it was beautiful how each person was standing in the way that they were, and it was meant to connect exactly as it may. They're all my friends, but in different ways. They've never met each other. Not one of them have met each other before. That I speak of, the 6 around the table. And so when I get home, I'm like, okay, I get guided to take a picture of, oh wow, my dog is really putting her energy, scratching my pajamas I'm wearing. And I kind of have a clear knowing why. It's like imprinting. So she's here greater than my realization as I speak. And so I took the picture of the guests that were able to attend, and I realized, wow, these are very special people. All 8 of them. And especially these 6. And not in any comparison to the 8 by any means, but just something greater than my understanding made it possible. And I know I was part of that creation of gathering people together, new friendships, new support, like a soulful family. And I just know, as I looked at the Mystic Supper picture and how it was just something that spoke volumes when I looked at one of the disciples to the left, and I'm like, interesting. And so when I took the picture, and this after the fact, and the validation and verification of synchronicity, and the knowing that when I sat at the table, out of the 6, me and another were the last to arrive, because we parked farther and walked up. Or not quite farther, but anyway, we just took us longer to get there. I'm not sure why. And so I look in my memory around the table and how we sat. And the person to my left is the person that was first on the message that was received to go through in synchronicity in a simultaneous way. And then the person next to her was the 2nd on my list. The person next to her was the 3rd on the list. And then the 4th and the 5th, and then myself, looking back and going, these 5 other ladies. And I think of relics, I think of enlightened beings, I think of the number 5 and how it resonates with me. And seeing these 5, and then I'm like, okay, 6, Mother Mary, Queen of Angels, like, thank you. Feeling that part of the guidance, being there in amazing ways. That's beyond my understanding, but getting validation. And then just the experience and how beautiful it was tonight. And it was like everyone knew each other from obviously either simultaneous lives or past lives or however it may be, dependent on their faith and their belief. But there was a beautiful connection, undeniable connection. And I even felt that at the show where my heart, there was this radiating heart that went up, and the energy. And the odd time there was, something come in and I felt tired, but then yet maybe it was the energy of all 7 of us sitting in a row and feeling the heart energy spread out. And then knowing after the big surprise, the 8th that did arrive. And so, and me not even remembering, it's kind of like, because of the day I had, I needed to shut off and really be like everything from shutting off the phone to shutting off and just being with what is and enjoying to a point that even the performance, there's times where I closed my eyes just to feel. And just knowing that blindness had to have been a life of mine before, because that that knowing of hearing and knowing, even to a point where I was like calling in a guide and feeling that energy come down and shower over me, like that guide could see and could experience it as well. And I even heard somebody say, it's been 17 years since they've been able to see a performance like I was able to see tonight, which was, oh, wow, right? Wow. And asking permission to see, but I don't even dare answer, because it's just like being the moment of what is and just being. Because I'm not saying it's trickery or gameplay by any means. I do know that this vessel of mine is sacred, and I'm a sovereign being in a sovereign place, no matter where I'm going or wherever I may be. And so it's building healthy boundaries for myself and spirit, however that may present itself. And so there was a big shift and change tonight. And realizing that all those that surrounded me that were able to, those that had other, let's just say, engagements where they weren't able to, that's okay. And realizing that it was meant to be exactly as it may, and that the celebration was more about celebrating in support of one another. It was like the first two angel cards of Archangel Raphael comes up with illuminating your light. And then I look up, a definition, Archangel Raphael, and illuminating, and how it really resonates. And I'm like, wow. And how these two beautiful people both got the exact same card, and the beautiful, the beautiful connection of them. I don't believe it's just their first life, of the connection that is. And then, another one getting, Angel Cassiel romance, and that kind of chuckle because it's a synchronicity thing for her, and how we got to communicate about what romance is really about. And then another beautiful soul who has brought such joy to me and friendship in a way that's so unique in the way we met, and how, Angel Cassio came up, Celestina came up with joy, and I'm like, yeah, that's just so perfectly divinely fitting for this person. And then to the right of me, another receiving Angel Ariel, and I'm like, no surprise, this too is someone who is a practicing integrated energy therapy practitioner, who is there to inspire. And so it's like, wow. And then I get no other than Angel Sarah. I was surprised with adventure. And so I look around and I say to everyone, all these cards resonate with each and every one of us. And so what a gift. And so when I got home and it's after midnight, and then I'm like saying to myself, how I have to pick cards for the others as well. So I end up with another who is near and dear to my heart, who brought a beautiful gift of a candle and a special cookie. And I was so grateful. And so her being near and dear to my heart, I pick a card out of my pouch, and sure enough, it's Angel Daniel and happiness. And I'm like, oh, how suiting for her, especially when she brought me happiness this winter when I never traveled anywhere, but I was able to go see her, and it was like a holiday, and brought me happiness. And so thankful and grateful. And then I'm like, oh, but not without sending another, whom is also near and dear to my heart, a friend who I met at the monastery when I first started going, this person as well. And I realized, I'm like, oh wow, Archangel Michael in travel. This person was speaking of that exactly, and I guess querying if to do so, and blessing this person with travel. I'm like, yeah, very suiting. 100% divinely guided that this is the card for that person. And so I send a message to someone who's been on a pivotal change of me, just knowing that my sanity, and that, I am who I am, and that my abilities, my gifts, not even having to identify with anything really other than my practice and dharma and love and kindness. So I send this person pictures of these beautiful beings that I know it's safe and it's not going to be posted online. It's just going to be something that this person sees. And I picked a card as well. And I'm like, oh wow. And then I'm just like, I'm for some reason not to share it. And maybe it's because that person hasn't seen the card yet. And that's okay with me. It's beautiful and it's sacred. And yet it's special for all of us to be able to be blessed with as well. And so may you sleep well. May you find your own destiny in your own way, no matter your faith. May you find your destiny to love and kindness. May you find your way to being free of anger in any way it may be. Maybe it's being around beautiful, like-minded people that respect and love and appreciate you for you in the moment that is, and not a lot of carried history where you can be nitpicked to pieces for your character amongst other things. And maybe that's what you need at this time. May you be free from ill will, ill intent, however it may be. Because some, you realize their intentions, they not maybe know what it is they're doing because they're in what some would call a dark night of the soul, or in a place where it's being on the mend, and yet finding a path, not being jealous, so free of jealousy as well. And may you find that path where you may be free of mental and physical suffering, and so that you can be brought to a place in harmonious ways of peace with yourself. And no matter what level of vibration, no matter where you are on your journey, to just be blessed, even as I pray for clarity be showered down on those that I love, even my family. And may they see the love and kindness in each and every one of them, no matter how it may be. And so I know of impermanence, and we're not all going to be here forever, but we are going to cherish the here and now, moment to moment, day by day, and cherish the experiences. And I look forward even to the future, even though it's not here, being in the now of adventure and many other blessings that are brought forward. So may you feel blessed by your guardian guide, who is doing work in unique ways in helping us live life experiences. And so just remember the impact that you can have, not just on yourself, on others as well. I know for myself tonight, I know there's, obviously I have to go to a car wash, or I have to wash my car outside, because energetically there's something going on where I get out of my car and I feel this bodily pain, and I'm not sure why. And then I'm in the car with another who's a healer, and I mention it to her. And then I get out of the car and I'm like, oh, isn't that amazing? I'm not feeling that same pain when I get out of my car. Like, what is it that's different? And then tonight I got home and I got out of my car, and then there was the pain again. And I swear that it's beyond the psychic attacks that others are capable of doing. And I mean, here's my dog nestled on my lap now as she was clearing, I guess, even though these pajamas have been cleansed with soap and water. I'm realizing maybe there's prayers that need to be done when I wash my clothes as well. And so may we realize the power of prayer. Some would refer to prayer in a way from Bible texts. Some may believe in prayer from an intentional, heart-focused, centered place. Like when I think of Master Jesus, Lord Sanada, Yahshua, Yahweh, all these names, many, many names that he has been named, and their interconnection, intertwined with many other faiths, coming together, saying the love and kindness is so important at this time. Harmony, peace, bringing tranquility in times of need. And so I have to believe and pray, and I'm being shown those of light, being surrounded by light, that are not being of judgment, that are not nitpicking, that are soulfully meant to be together, greater than our understanding. As I said to one, there's obviously a higher purpose as to why this unity occurred tonight. And I'm thankful. And it was just, it's no seances. It's no holding hands and doing prayers. I mean, I did do a prayer in gratitude for the meal, but it's just rejoicing with an experience of surrounding each other and sharing different experiences and things that are going on in the world at this time, and views and perspectives, and just people, and seeing their body language and seeing how they're divinely connecting with what others are saying, and just feeling the beauty in that. Thank you, Angel Faith. Feeling the beauty. Feeling the beauty. How beautiful is that? Beauty in a whole different level. And it's funny how my face occurs even before myself as I look and realize that people's effect, you can't judge it. You can't just assume when you see something of somebody being sad, because that was something I always did with my mother. She would have this look as she aged where she looked sad all the time. But she wasn't. She was in tune with herself in a different way, and realizing that there were times where she just sat in silence. And I spoke of that tonight, where some had met me before, and I was so in silence, I would not say much of anything, and I would just listen. And to others, and realizing that was the trauma. I was coming out of trauma, and realizing those who have affected me on this journey, and how hopefully one day I'll come to terms with beyond forgiveness of myself, forgiveness of others as well. Because I believe it's almost like a contract I made to myself to one day be on my deathbed and say goodbye and be of peace and not regret or remorse or like resolving what it is in everything I do. Some people are great at it. They're able to do it immediately, where they call on the self of what is in their situation. And if they feel and take an accountability immediately, and being able to say, I'm sorry, my apologies, whatever the case may be, and being a pure heart. I know I can be that way, and it's working on that and more each and every day. As I move forward, I know that it's very hard for me because pain bodies that come in and affect me. And so I know that I persevere on in different ways and know that it's not my pain, it's not my energy, it's not mine. And so I pray for angels, saints, the guides of all sorts, the relics, to get an update and helping me with guidance amongst other things. Because knowing of a self, in a way, it's hard to describe. And it doesn't need any DSM diagnosis or attachment to same. There is a reason why the foundational base of me working in mental health as long as I have. There's a reason why the foundational base of the military experience I had. There's a reason for the foundational base, even reflecting back to when I worked in the bank and setting me up in a special way and helping me live this life experience in the manner that I'm living it. So all these experiences and how they have impacts us in different ways. We don't need to identify those as experiences, like I mentioned. It doesn't make me who I am. The labels of what is, the experiences do. And so as I move forward and with such great gratitude and realizing even those people that were on my path that may no longer be, and gratitude for the seminal thought, reminded of guidance like, oh, remember that one time somebody said something in particular? And knowing that these same people may have been very deceitful, betrayal, amongst other things, there were still good things to learn as well from them. And so realizing, yeah, I am one of those that is very loyal. And being very loyal sometimes can come at a cost, especially if it's not healthy to continue on with that loyalty of those that may hurt you or betray you. And so we stand sovereign beings on the mend, moving forward, being of light, and continue to do so, even though there are those that come along our path that want to stomp our light out. Tonight it was beautiful. Not one person was there to stomp anyone's light out. And here I am on the 11th of July. And so when you think of 7 and 11, which is 18, which is 9, and then you add the year, which is 2026, which is 1, which makes 10. 10, which is 1 in a homecoming way today. Anyone that is born will be a life path number 1. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that miraculous? For me, just resonating with synchronicity is a miracle. Is it because I see miracles in a way because I have endured so much pain and suffering in this lifetime that the simplest little pleasure of something of a validation and seeing it so differently than possibly others, it's like, even at the performance and just seeing things so differently with such grace and gratitude for each and every person that surrounded me. And even comically, the girl that was in front of us that, we asked if she could take a picture, and her hands were all full of gunky stuff. And she goes, well, later, after I finish, and I use some wipes, and I, by then we had all taken the, little separate pictures. And so I realized that a group picture was not meant to be, because it would have been of 7 of us and not 8, which is unity. And so I'm grateful for the little group pictures of each and every one of us, of bonding in a special way. And I know on this life path, there are times, don't get me wrong, pain and suffering surfaces, and accepting what is, and having gratitude for what is, and being with what is, being grateful. Being grateful even for the beautiful ladies and gentlemen at the restaurant and their excellent service. It's beautiful. I feel joy, even right down to taking my dog for a walk tonight, looking up at the stars and taking it in, and even sitting briefly in the backyard and just, even right now as she lays on my lap, even if I was to close my eyes and not wake up, I'm reminded the day my dad died and I almost drowned, and I asked the angels, why did I not? Because the angelical beings then ensured that wasn't the right exit plan for me. It was also an experience of surviving an exit plan and a big transition and a pivotal change in my life in 2018. And so you look at 2018, which is 11, which can be seen as a portal of peace, but it also can be seen as something different, depending on the person and their experiences. Because it was a pivotal change for many. And you even look back at other years too, like 2008, pivotal change. Again, 8 and 2 is 10. Oneness in a homecoming way, pivotal changes. Here we are, 2026, pivotal changes in oneness in a homecoming way. There's a lot going on in the world. May we find peace. May we find harmony. May we find ways, as I mentioned in this video, of being free in a love and kindness way. May you be well. And I notice that some of the things I may say, it's like wishing for myself as well, which is taking me a long, long time to do.